silvers, you know, with a couple of plucky golds amongst them.
I think...
But I taught them how to do a west main take. I was inspired, like, I drilled it into them. Control of the hatch.
Okay, yes, good. Who's taking care of that?
Well, usually I take care of a lot of things.
You just do everything.
No, but they're getting there. I'm proud to say that they've gone from dying outside Snowmobile repeatedly to at least trying another side of the map.
Yeah.
This is just conversation whilst the bands come through.
No, I totally
worry,
get that.
Stream, we will talk about it.
Do you ever have that when you're in a clutch situation and you just stay calm and you ride that wave through? And then they're like, how do you stay so calm in these situations? Like, how do you still make proper decisions?
Well, I think
that's what I have with my silver people.
I think the thing about my silver friends, they don't really know what a proper decision is.
Oh, yes.
So explaining to them
what the right decision is.
Yeah, it's, you know, they're at the level where they're learning. They're doing the best they're learning.
Yeah.
They're learning how that they shouldn't just be in really aggressive positions on the defense, unless there's a reason that they're doing the swing.
Yeah, sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something on defense. That's true.
Yeah, and positioning and when to go aggressive and when not to. It's something they're learning. Okay, what are we learning? Well, I guess probably lessons. Team Secret at this moment in time. Wolves, top of the board. Even with the results that have come through right now, they are still in first place. That distance can become even greater. They can stay unbeaten with a 6-0-0 record potentially on the cards here. Finker gone from the sides of Secret, removed out of the hands of Wolves, who can play along that, but to be honest, that's not going to slow them down too much. The Nooks on the board. I was going to say in the hands of Mowgli, but hey, look at this. What about the Glaz, the Candelas, and the Amaru? What do we have cooking here, Wolves?
Candelas, what about the fuse charge that are on the board as well? So this is an interesting, for lack of a better word, line of going through. Not because I think it's bad, but just generally because I have no clue what they want to do. It seems like they want to go for a rush, but then you have a fuse there as well. It's like, how are they going to implement the fuse into a rush? I have no clue. It's going to be good to see what Wolves have thought up. They're getting very close to qualifying, and let me actually get the specific stuff that they needed. Outsiders needed to beat Heroic, which of course didn't happen, but the other things did happen, and that means that if they win now, they might not even have to play anymore to be qualified.
They will probably still have to play more.
Yeah, they'll still have to play for rules, but I mean, they can just get 7-0'd everywhere.
All right, Wolves, you've been unbeaten up to this point, and your last Playday was against the team in second. Now it's the team in last. Kendrew might be the first one that tries to find the fights. There's a Candela inside the site. The smokes cover the rotation. Hey, Amaru, you're up, you're in. You're going to see if you can stick it, but the Nitro comes through. Sleb in right place, right time. Entirely neutered that push. They're going to have to try and bite back. They lose Bibu on the windows on the opposite side of Solarium as well. Rise at least finds one. They also, well, I was going to say have some presence inside Piano, but Keenan slaps them back out. Wolves tried something. And Secret, they had the positioning to stop it. Savage now. He's going to at least find Rise on the split, leaving just Shinka alone with all the time in the world.
Just a cheeky 1v4. On the board, maybe. No diffuser has been caught due to the C4. Also, no real entry for him to work with.
That's the downside of the rush. There's that balance. There's things that work in your favor, like having time. There's things that don't, like this. All utility, still generally standing. All structure, still generally standing. Savage, still standing. Secret, they take the first. The surprise strike was an early introduction to a Secret round.
Yeah, they wanted to go quick. Didn't dig in deep enough, maybe. Of course, you want to plant in the cover of that smoke, but with the Nitro coming through, that was always going to fail, unfortunately. So that first round is a throwaway. Not being used into the right opportunities. But I mean, hey, they tried it. It didn't go right, and that means that as we head onto this next round now, we might see a more conventional Wolves to come out, because even though they are this close to qualifying, there is no reason yet to not play at your best capacity, because they aren't qualified yet. They still do need some points. I believe an overtime loss would also put them on 99%. So for those of you wondering at home, that's how close they are. They can end up between 99 and 99.9% today, based on how the other results went. So with that said, still something to play for. And for Secret, of course, it's not directly for the major anymore. I don't think that will happen. It is going to be for the relegation fight that's coming up after. They need to make sure to pick up as many points as they possibly can to either find themselves in a relegation game or outside of the range altogether.
Okay, this is going to be a real start here from Wolves. They went for something to try and set a pace, but they didn't quite have it. Secret, you know, if 1C4 had been in a different position in a pocket, if they hadn't quite had Sleben where he was, it might have been a round that went away from them. Now Wolves, they're going to see if they can try and reset themselves in the pace. They know the risks of those plays, and Secret knows how sharp they can be. Here's a bit of pressure that's about to come around. They're waiting for Saves to make this move. They have that pixel angle to spray themselves down. They're going to have to burn. The piston comes. Saves is probably going to drop and pre-fire in a moment as Shinka gets a drone round. Saves gets it almost instantly. A little bit more of a pressure, a little bit more of a swing. There's the reveal of the player. Mowgli's actually rotated himself. Another burning arrow is about to come over the top. That forces the motion, but they don't get the catch.
Not quick enough there. I mean, Mowgli was repelled up, was able to potentially go for the pickup, but unfortunately failed. Luckily, though, they did still get saves off that spot, and that means the piano is now able to be taken under control by Wolves as they start to slowly push in and take care of any utility that could still be placed there. I mean, you saw them pre-fire in case of any frostmat, in case of someone being below. First, of course, on that board. Not connecting with anything, though. Keeper barriers are being set up, and we've seen this be a big issue, especially on this area near the library. Turns in quite a bit of a maze if you're not careful enough.
Now the pressure's going to come over the top with pretty much 2 minutes gone at this point. Wolves have started a structural take. They hope to get a catch on the player, but they're now inside. Savage, though, still on the top floor with Sleben on the swing support on that blue staircase. Means they might need to try and do some work, but it's actually Kendry they find first and then Saves with a quick pick up. So maybe they're not going to try and find the fights inside because they're inside the site itself, covered in getting the plant. Keenan bites his way back over the top and tries to swing round, but with the kick going down and no way to stop it, the upside down repel keeps him at bay and then does better than that. P4 gets the drop on the door and they just swung themselves into sight. I was so distracted by the setup on the take, I didn't even notice that they'd hopped the double window, found the kill onto the supply line, found the other one inside the site, and got the kit down itself. Keenan, he's creeping his way down the stairs, pre-firing either side of the hards that he has, but it's the swing on the door that just gives Wolves it. I think that's when I got to roll it back. Did they enter from...
I'm not quite sure. I was a bit distracted myself with like the library take. How do I wanted to take care of that one, and suddenly they're inside and the plan's going down and nothing seems to be going Secret's way anymore. So a one-on-one, good round from Wolves to come through. Managed to equalize that score, even though it didn't look too hot for the majority of that round. A lot of time wasted trying to get rid of one player. But now we head towards the kitchen in the dining area. Also, on that middle floor, there's a quick way in from that basement up towards the west main stairs. Hence, the Banshee is being placed in that position. Access opened up as well. Now, we just saw a rush, of course, in that very first round with the Amaro. Sometimes there's actually a rush opportunity here as well. It's up that hatch that you usually play with for the basement hole. Sometimes, if you have enough information, you might just go up there with the Amaro. Now, it's not on the board now, so we won't see it yet. But I'm not going to say we won't see any more rushes from Wolves to come out because they're in quite of a comfortable spot in the league. 3 points ahead of anybody else and still playing their own game now. Could be up to 6. And that means that with 9 more points to be gained after this, you know, they could literally afford to lose 2 of them and still be on top. Ooh.
Oh, do they know?
They don't.
No. Savage gets out of there, but I don't think he knew how close he was to getting a very unwanted haircut from bullets pelting through a window just to get some clarity. Rise, he's going to try and hope that somebody swings around. He has a couple of grenades that you could try and long arm up towards that bathroom as the pressure comes round. A couple of preset claymores on the runouts, and here BB with the break on the big double window wants to pop it with some pace to see if they can try and catch out anyone in that position, because that's Chalet. It's the game of catch and cat and mouse. Can you get yourself stacked up on all the windows to mean their retreat is one that won't go so well? The double bounce on the grenades, the pressure round, but no player is home. Saves tucked in the bathroom, and one by piano window. Are they going to go for a jump out onto Rise is the question.
Well, they need to get rid of that bathroom first, but I don't think they've actually droned that position because no one is really putting any pressure towards it. Mowgli now coming around the corner as well. P4 will find saves. Player behind the piano there. P4 and Rise both engaging at the same time. Will eventually come out on top here. Luckily for Wolves, that could have ended badly there for Mowgli.
It was clean. They knew about the player in the bath. They were able to take care of them pretty quickly. Maybe they wanted engagement on the hop, but either way, it's still a blow that goes against Secret. Now, Wolves have this. Oh, and they have a freebie. Keenan caught sleeping. The spray over the top. Savage at least stops Mowgli there and puts them into the 2 versus 4. Savage seems like he wants to set up for an aggressive retake. P4 is going to restart. And, well, we'll see if this is something that, I guess, rights itself before the end. But it does make it a 3 versus 2.
Yeah, indeed. They're man down now. Bit of unfortunate timing, but with Savage trying to retake that top floor control, he might be able to bring this back to a 2-on-2. Now, there is a drone out there, so there should be information on the fact if Savage comes in for a roam. They should be able to deal with that. The other player, Kangaroo, is going to be sitting inside a trophy, so not directly onto the side, which means that a bit of a passive game is looking to be eyed upon here by Wolves. They want to, by Secret, sorry. Wolves, they need to go for the side at some point, and then Secret are looking to retake it.
Trying to find these last bodies with 30 seconds. Savage is just trying to give himself an angle back on.
Oh, Kendrew. He's in the perfect position here.
My God, Kendrew holds this time.
Don't move.
Waits. Here's the call. You can see him communicating. Just hopes he doesn't get seen. There's 2 players. Kendrew's hiding their visions based on movement. The plant's being done. And he times it perfectly. He swings for the second fight. He finds it. Kendrew, with the patience of a saint and the aim of a sinner, is able to get that a quick pick back up round. The 2 versus 1. They just have to find him, and he's cooking a problem in a kitchen.
What a play from Kendrew that was. He's just laying prone. He's not moving anything. He's looking like towards the side of his screen, because he didn't want to move his mouse, because then the legs throwing your games, not really, but like start relaxing a bit, like preparing for the major, and you lose all your games suddenly. That 1% could just happen. It's not the first time or last time, first and last time we would see it happen. So Wolves definitely have a lot to play for still. And they need to make sure that they do that. And, you know, Rehouse coming in just to get everybody back into the lobby, making sure that they can get at least 3 rounds here on the attack. That's their goal.
I mean, yeah, that's it. 3 is a really good drive for them. Wolves can be a good attacking team. You know, Wolves, okay, they are 5-0, but it's not that they haven't been pushed to the brink, and they've been pushed to the brink by teams that you wouldn't have sort of expected. They obviously had a big fight against, I think it was Pones on Oregon, where it was a 7-5. It came down to a rush round as their final one on attack. They have been stressed, and sometimes it's by those teams that they wouldn't have expected for it, whether it's the sort of difference of the importance of the way that they put in their games. Later on this week, they've got Na'Vi, who were, you know, arguably more of a contender than Secret were, and it's a quick turnaround. So when you've got that extra 5 days difference rather than 2, you might want to focus some of that towards your other potential game. I'm just throwing hypotheticals out there.
Now, P4 crushed again, and if I am correct, you only get 1 technical rehost.
I believe they can make exceptions for it.
They can,
but
however,
that is outside of our hands.
Of course, but it's also not the prep phase, which makes it even
trickier.
More tricky. Now, either way, it's going to be a 4-on-5 for now, until any decision gets made. Wolves are keeping it kind of patient here. They're not going for any quick push yet. A minute has passed, and they're still getting some drones out here and there as they go on. Not able to find anything just yet. Mowgli steps into that goo mine, but is working on getting that top floor cleared out. I mean, Secret probably got a win of this as well, and they're like, all right, we got to treat this as an entry kill, right? We got one less person to deal with. Let's just fall back towards the site. Let's just deal with it on site and let them waste time.
That's the thing right now. In a mentality's sake, you have to play towards the whistle as well. It's obviously more frustrating for Wolves. They're going to have to keep pushing on. But Secret, they can't get lost to this. They can't get blindsided to this. Things have happened outside anyone's control that's in their favor, and they're just going to make sure that that plays into their game. But at the same time, you still have to keep that pressure on. You still have to keep that play. And now, unfortunately, Wolves, they're in that tricky situation where, once again, they found themselves at the man deficit. And once again, they're going to have to see if they can try and work that in. To be honest, last time it was a 4 versus 2 that became a 3 versus 2. Now, it gives Secret that man advantage on a site down that can be quite a big lock-in. It means they are at a disadvantage on the fight and the lead-in towards that roam clear.
Now, nothing really being done so far. 45 seconds left on the clock, Emmy. And Sheikah's just moving up to open up that first wall. They still need to open up the side one. The EMP gets tossed in to at least clear the Mute Gemmer and also allow their grenade to come through, but no damage done. Kendry's already gone. Opening gets made onto the side as well as Mowgli finds an entry into saves.
They find the lock in there onto blue. Keenan and Savage going for a rotate over the top as they try and hold the back line itself. There's eyes on the hatch. It's a big opener, and there goes the close. Bibu and Mowgli both taken off the board. Rise gets one back. Shinka's going to try and offer some cover, but they went very aggressive with the kit, leaving just Shinka alive. He's trying to find himself in between the two players. He knows where one is. The Malusi swings round, swings the body itself. They've just got to hot tail it out of there. They're up the stairs. They're off around the corner. Shinka's out of time.
And Wolves, with a very unfortunate loss of P4 there early on in the round, ran out of time. They weren't able to get anything done. They weren't able to go for an execute finally. And they just get beaten up by Secret there. And P4 keeps crashing. He just joined back, but he's instantly gone again. So, and they're back in. Let's see if he lasts more than 30 seconds this time. Definitely hope so. Now, back towards the top floor we go. Secret currently 1-3 lead. Not all hope is lost yet for Wolves, though. They need to get 3 rounds, or look for 3 rounds. And of course, they can make the difference on the defense as well. I'm not saying if they end this 2-4 or 1-5, the game is over, because they're a very incredible team. And they can definitely make the comeback happen. It's just a little bit easier if you have the 3-3 now. It just allows you to have a bit more of a slip-up margin when you're on the defense yourself.
It's the all well and good about this is there's at least 2 rounds now that have a little asterisk on them.
Yeah.
But they still have a scratch in the Secret column. The asterisk means, you know, things to both these teams, in that Secret, you know, sure, they know those rounds might have not gone their way. They did, but there's things that they can work on. Wolves know those rounds could have gone their way, but they didn't. And there's things that, you know, that will frustrate them about that, but they can still grow from it. They're still a team that will take that in. Yeah. Outside of that, it's still the score of the game, and you can only play the game that's in front of you. That's just what it is.
It definitely is. Either way, flank watch is being set up. They want to make sure Secret is not allowed to go for any runouts from that garage. Stop them as they're repelled up onto the solarium. EUL is not doing a very good job at stopping the drones there. Probably not meant to, because they're placed on that wall. As the balcony pressure is starting to arise, Saves will hear that repel in. Might actually call for a bit of help there onto the long window that is near the library hallway. Entry coming through, double one.
Gonna say, there it is. Both swing in. They're seeing if they can try and lean straight into this fight. Looks away at the worst possible time. Saves, finds Rise. And P4 finds Kendry back in the server and instantly making an impact. Sleben with the C4 is able to find his second kill with the utility of that over the 2 times we've been in this site. But here, Mowgli with the creep round, looking to try and find his way into Piano. There's an angle being held over the top. They have no more grenades to try and do the same, but the shield is just being played, and there's the catch for anyone else that might try and step in. Savage still has a bit of a lockdown underneath, and Shinka on the double window means that they've got at least a window to try and get this kit down. It's P4's pockets, but where does he feel confident?
There's also some verticality they need to be careful of. Keenan just removes Shinka with a run out. Saves will find Mowgli. And then it's only up to P4, the man who has been crashing constantly. Unfortunately, will find the very first in that 1v4. Hopes to go for the second, but misses the first opportunity. They're not too quick on rotating back up, and as an impact pops up from underneath, he's aware of the fact that he has to deal with some of these players still coming back up. However, they're not coming his way. They're rotating a long way around, headed towards the library, making sure there's absolutely no way that he can pick them up without anybody being there to respond to it. A grenade gets tossed in, but will it find anybody? Might actually. Onto Keenan there, but Keenan's long gone. Yeah. Oh, we might as well.
Caught by the Wamai disc on the swing around. Otherwise, it would have likely got the kill on Keenan. He rotates himself to an aggressive place. It wasn't untenable for him to get that round. I think the way Secret rotated, we actually saw, I think it was Savage, go up the stairs, the pings came through, and then he pulled back, hit the impact on the way past, did enough to distract them, did enough to waste another 20 seconds. Even in the 4 versus 1, Secret knew that they couldn't overplay their hand. You know, 4 rounds on their defense here on Chalet. It's impressive. Wolves can still turn this around. As I said, it's tricky with the things that have gone on, but they're a team that is top of the board. They're a team... This was one of the 2 games where it didn't matter the result. The board wasn't going to shift between this game and the last game. But with the fact now that Rogue is, on 12 points, Heroic's 12 points, M&M's 12 points... The difference of 5 becoming a difference of 2 to 3 teams is sort of dangerous to Wolves.
Yeah, of course. Like, they're just a single win ahead of 3 of these teams, which means they can still lose this one and they can still lose another game up ahead before any of these teams will be able to catch up fully and equalize that score. You kind of don't want that still, though. You want to go for that flawless. You want to get that 6th win in, put yourself on 18 points. Make sure you basically qualify for the 6th major in Berlin. But it might not be today. Oh, that's a head being spotted out, and Savage opens fire, but P4 is ready to respond. We'll find the head instead. That's the entry kill for Wolves. And again, P4, the man who we said, like, always basically has an impact, hasn't been able to have too much yet because he crashed twice. He's proved himself useful twice now.
Well, suddenly it sprays all across the board, but it saves in Sleben that find themselves 3 between the 2, and suddenly Wolves went from having the 2 lead-in bodies to being pushed back once again. Bibu, he does have a connection with this game alongside Shinka, who's been able to have a couple of bites out of it. They still have the structure of doing some damage to the hard, but well, there's still 3 players, 3 active players. Keenan has himself pockets full of smoke canisters as well, and still a resilience of death since this game sort of got itself into a swing in terms of rehosting. So it's from this position now. Well, there's one. No! Poor Bibu can't quite get the connection. There's a Bibu no from Tim. If I've ever heard one, should have been a freebie. And his army's allowed to get out of jail.
For free, somehow survives. People missing the shots of the farmers there. Again, it's a bit of a tricky gun, but that should have been a kill. Could have actually seen him as he dropped down from the roof already. I'm not quite sure how Sleben didn't realize, but well, we're here now. Shinka wasting the last Rooney Surya laser gate as well. Bibu droning out the top floor, but it's of course not the site they need to go to. They still need to go downstairs. Secret aware of this as well. Just holding tight. And this, okay, first of all, I'm going to go back to this one. 2 people jumped in from the bathroom window, didn't bother to check the bathtub itself. And you know what? One of them was Yana. This people finds the kill onto Sleben somehow. Yeah, it took a bit. But the Yana didn't even use the Gemini replicator dares. They just both jumped in and both got taken out by the Jaeger.
Well, here's a drop round, a ping on a player. They think they're on the opposite side. They're still roughly in that territory. It's a spray that's about to come through from Bibu, but Keenan fires back. Unlike the flight of Sleben, this time there's a response, and this time it's one that removes the Frenchman. The drop down, right into Keenan. 5-1.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not to be worried now. Secret definitely doing well here. They're able to pick apart Wolves wherever they go. But we also have to acknowledge the fact that Wolves had some struggles during the early rounds, and now we're starting to make some mistakes. Like, they're not droning it out properly, they're not using their information properly, but Secret is there to punish them for it. And that started off with Kendra having a trigger discipline to now Saves being in the BAFTA, being able to take down 2 players just jumping in. They're in the positions they need to be in to punish the mistakes
we don't need
that...
to watch this again.
Sees him here. Then... unfortunate.
Yeah.
This happens to the best of us, you know? And then he hits this shot, though. So
yeah,
he misses everything, and then he hits the toes.
There's revenge. There's vengeance.
It's crazy how that goes. A clean headshot. Nah.
I think, okay, the thing about this Wolves play is it's a shame because this is by far, this is the most disconnected we've seen them. They come off the back of a hotly contested and very hotly played game on the last Playday against high competitors, and it was what you wanted, and it was intense, and it was fantastically put together. And here, okay, there's stuff that's out of their element and stuff that they haven't been able to play against, but it's still something you can see that frustration, and that's tough to wing past. Here's a quick swing round. There's a freebie inside the site. They took the rush. They found themselves through on the plant. They're pushing towards it. There's a second. Savage with that energy is going. They hit their own team, but the kit should get planted. The cover is going to come around from underneath. Saves. Gets it locked to the ground, and Mowgli and Saves trade one apiece. There's a spray through. They know P4's inside the door now, and there's pressure coming over the top. The kit's in the middle of the room. It's dangerous to try and get some control, but from the door, it's locked down. Keenan wide for 2. And Secret, well, they had a rush against them fail, and then they demonstrated their own 6-1.
I was going to say it. Like, Wolves trying to go for a rush that failed. Secret is here to show them how you rush. Properly done there through that basement, up the stairs.
Majors out of question. There's a relaxed attitude that can come about your play where you start to try and test things, start to try and push things. Calmness leads to clarity, leads to comms, leads to success.
Still wondering, Bibu was watching the right door. He's like, sure, he's gonna shut this down.
At the worst possible time.
And then he looks away at the moment the sound comes through.
But if anything, that's Wolves this day. And it's a day that those frustrations build and that becomes clear. They've taken their tech time out. They, sort of risked and gambled and said, well, we'll try and take it. Because your defense on this map is always going to be tougher anyway. But it's that thing about Wolves' play right now is we also know from watching them, from listening to them, they are a very energy-driven team. They're a team that when they are... I mean, look at any of their match comms from any of the previous days. It doesn't matter who they're up against. There is energy. There is hype. There is standing up at the end and getting aggressive and getting happy and victorious. And this
doesn't look like Wolves.
It's downtrodden. Yeah, it looks like dogs. It looks like puppies. This is what Wolves became thanks to humanity.
Oh, well, let's see if they can still try and fight back into it. Secret currently having a point already. I mean, they are doing very well so far. They're completely able to shut down any single mistake that's being made by Wolves. So you got to give them that. You cannot take that away from them by saying, well, Wolves just play badly. No. Secret plays well. Wolves play bad at the same time. It makes for this 6-1 to be on the board. And just a single round away from getting 3 points against the leading team, the by far best team in Europe so far.
Well, that was a very well-practiced and bounced drone. Drives itself along there, and they're just seeing if they can get a catch on anyone that might swing round. There is, obviously, that heavy-hitting rifle and the heavier-hitting hands of Mowgli on the back line of box, hoping to get anyone that swings. They cannot make another mistake. That's that big risk, because that's how things have gone for them before, and Sleben leads in. A perfectly played nade there, is able to get the catch onto P4. They put a little bit of damage down towards the site. The Sense as well. They're on the board. They're not the most common operator seen, but there's the cover that goes almost all the way across. Doesn't quite lock in the backside of the piano, but look at this. It allows them to get that breach off. And now they have a route through. The box is opened over the top, forces the player back. Good use of utility. A minute left, and they can try and focus down on the site wall itself.
Now, they don't need to be inside the box, and that's why they opened up the way they did, just so they have some angles to work with here to stop them from using any verticality. They want to open up further, though. There is currently nothing stopping that exothermic from going off. but actually Kendrew pressing that trigger. So they're waiting for something here. They're waiting for everybody to be in position so they can actually start executing onto the side. They have a sense through the Dronal. It's going to block everything off. Kendrew digs in really deep, right next to the hatch. There's no way they guess that this is where the plant is going down. They need to push through. They are not in time. Actually, Mowgli is. The plant did not go down, and Saves was not there for the cover.
30 seconds. They're inside the site. Savage on the back line is looking for the kill there onto Shinka. Gets out of the way of the Razor Bloom, but Vertical has gone away from them once again. They're aware, though. The Melusi stops just a second and a sliver too short. The 3 versus 2 almost perfectly played, but Bibu from the top rope gets the lockdown. The player is down. And there's now a backline fight towards the big opening. They have 15 seconds, and this is going to make it tricky. They might not know that the Maestro was down, but they sure do now. Keenan creeps his way inside. He's looking for the kit. He's looking for anything, but he won't get it. It's Wolves with their second.
It almost worked out there. They almost managed to end the game there on the side of Team Secret. A good use of Sens and their gadget there to lock up the entire line aside. Unfortunately, though, the cover not there. Saves unable to find Mowgli running through with the DMR, hoping to stop that plan from happening. And Mowgli just in time as well. Just a couple, like a millisecond later. Could have been the difference there. Now, 2-on-6 will still need 4 rounds before they are able to bring this to OT, before they're able to potentially find themselves fighting for OT, for a win, and put themselves on that 99%. But Team Secret, they look sharp, they look activated, they look on. Just aside of that one whiff that I saw from Saves just now onto that cover, everything else looked to be completely on point, completely accurate, nothing to worry about. Just that one missed gunfight, though, is allowing Wolves to stay in the game.
One mistake, and it's still that wire, that sort of cost here. Secret, they're sitting with guaranteed points from this. They've wounded the wolf that's limping its way back to its cave to see if it can try and lick its wounds and find 2 points. But it's a long road to go. Secret is still hunting for that final round. They have some ideas, some control. The Nook in the pockets of Slabin was successful before on the lead-in. They're not going to go for the same rush. Makes sense. Not going to happen twice. There's also a little bit more width here that we're seeing from the side of P4 underneath. In a readier, quicker pace position to get a bit of fire back on. The play on the Claymore, the door, and some approach and focus elsewhere.
For sure. 2 minutes 30 left. Let's do some prep work here. A lot of ADS is actually down there, this time magnets as well. So they're not trying to be caught off by the same trick they wanted to use themselves, because any incendiary bolts will be caught off by those magnets and will take a little bit longer to detonate. P4 will find a Claymore, however, is going to be unable to run out as he wanted to. Have to use an extra impact a little bit later on. But Mowgli, with that first kill, that's crucial.
That's it. That's something where they haven't really been able to get that control before. They've not had that first foot forward, whether in their own control or not. But here's a moment. Can they turn it into something a little sturdier? The back line is coming together towards that push and fight onto the side of Pillar. There's pings on that Azami, but not quite a true catch as of yet. It's consistent and it's explosive and it's just a drive through here. Savage, what are you looking to find? Is it a fight? Well, Keenan finds one first and now you're a bit lost. The swing on the Azami, they go down and suddenly Secret have their response. They've taken a bit and C4 tries to find one back, but they might swing up the staircase itself. P4 hot-foots it, got to make some motions and movement. Could come up behind one of the players if they're able to get a bit of a surprise strike here. But Secret, they're still holding themselves locked in until Bibu gets locked out. Vertical and one back, Shinka. Now then, 3 versus 2, a minute on the clock. Shinka and P4, barely utility between them with just an impact, but they can have a big impact themselves on the round. They just need to try and find the moment. A little breath of the site itself. P4's still loose. There's the hop, there's the cover, there's the plant tucked in round in the corner. Savage is watching for any rotate. Where are you, Wolves? Where are you is the big question mark. Well, there's a missed fight on the top floor and a post plant inside the site itself. They can hop out the window. And they almost make it all the way unscathed, but Kendrew does get down. Will pull himself back. P4 is going to dance around. The fight has now dropped down inside the site. P4 wins that one. It's a 1 versus 2 technically. And they're ready to hop and swing. They're going to go for the plant and have the cover itself. No, it's 2 stories from the top and the bottom rope. There's saves either side. Shinka wins it out, and Wolves keep going.
They somehow just survive here. It was a 3v2 post plan there. Not being out quick enough there after that plant actually could have costed them there. That could have been a 2-on-2 in the end there after the top floor was lost. And they made the right decision going for that jump out. You knew you were going to blow up by that Claymore. Might have actually not even know because they didn't check. They just jumped out for secure onto the player that was down. But that was the reason they could
that far behind where Wolves were.
I mean, Secret can still even make it. I mean, if they get 3 now, they're beyond 5 points. They can get just inside that top 4. They're not completely out.
There's a lot of other little clicky balls that have to back into place.
There's definitely a lot, but they're doing everything they need to do now.
They are.
You know what? Actually, I had a talk right before the game with Milosh, and I asked him, what score do you think it will be? And he said 7-3, but he didn't specify what team it was.
But he also predicted Wolves, like...
Well, that's true, but...
Well, Milosh always predicts the French team.
Sometimes I predict different on CGG than I do on the show. So
I think it's to do with his visa. I think he has to predict French teams.
Yeah, it's contractual with the French government.
Oh, no, I have a visa as well now.
Have you predicted Wolves?
I did, but I didn't predict PDS.
We're on to something. Oh, okay,
I think I might get kicked out.
Unfortunate.
Oh, dear.
Just went through all that trouble just to go through it again.
Oh, well. I mean, we could all be wrong about this, though. Secret, they're taking their time out now. There's no more stops in play, barring anything extreme. So it's just the route and the road they have ahead of them. Wolves, 3 rounds, technically, but 2 in a row, and they can keep building. They still have to be flawless if they want to have any hope of a point out of this game. They've been able to bite themselves back from the brink from death's door, and to be honest, it was almost over on the previous round, barring one fight. That second time, it was a great retake. It's looking sharper and sharper, but it's still not entirely clean. Secret is still knocking on the door. Keenan 10-2 is having a big impact. Kendrew is obviously driving the plant and the utility here, but it's a little bit more spread out on the side of Wolves.
Yeah. See, 5-5, 4-3-2 on the side of Wolves. In terms of kills, of course, they only have 3 rounds. Now, so Twitch drone taken out early will not be taking care of any of that utility, so that's something good for the side of Wolves here. That's unfortunate. Just after they find a Twitch drone, they lose one of those yokai drones. Now, which one will be more important? I guess we'll have to wait until time will tell. It's the second Twitch drone about to be taken out, but they did take care of that one ADS, and that means that shield is now vulnerable.
That's it. They can try and drive themselves in. They don't want to risk going for the side on the wall itself, as that's going to get battered down anyway from the angles they can do. They just ran themselves in. The Nook's going to see if they can stick it under the surprise. Kendrew finds a kill, and the swing comes around from Mowgli, but the smoke pushes them off, and Saves gets dropped in the meantime. A big push back from Wolves there was absolutely perfectly played. The smart canisters bought them that moment, and Mowgli as well driving in. They want to go for the pickup, but it's a bit of no man's land. P4 gets caught out on the far side. Saves is still down. Keenan's underneath. Not sure if he's waiting for a player to come around or not, but Kendrew takes the safe rotate to get the pick back up here.
2 grenades still in pocket for Keenan, so can toss these in from below as soon as they realize where these players are. And Kendrew choosing the safe route indeed to go below, then outside. Savage gets down though, and Impact will find Mowgli, so he trades out himself. Indeed, a grenade was still tossed in. The smoke canister unable to confirm that kill. And that means that they are going to be able to bring this into a 4-2 situation with, however, Saves and Savage low on HP.
Dr. Kendrew's still in. He's going to maybe see if he can get the pick back up, and it comes through from Keenan, who's found his way back round. Shinka gets the drop onto the diffuser player, and that's 2 players massively injured. Bibu's a backline. Shinka still has his last smoke now thrown. The last 10 seconds, Saves drive over. The grenade and shrapnel does the damage. Bibu, he's got to swing and take the fight. Doesn't find it. Secret take 3 points. The Wolves can bleed, and Secret can breathe. But it's other things that have come into today's Playday. They'll all know. However, I think pretty much everybody's losing points in Twitch chat today.
I was actually going to say, there's a couple people in Twitch chat now that are very excited.